They were live, Arlington. It's 10 o'clock. I will call the regular council meeting to order. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is rich in indigenous history and home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. Can I have a motion to approve the regular council agenda as presented?
I'll move.
Second. Any opposed? Carried. Does anyone have a disclosure of interest at this time? Not noted. All right, yes, time for public input. Public input time is set aside on each agenda of each regular meeting to permit anyone in attendance to speak on any matter contained within the agenda and let be limited to 2 minutes. Public input will be received by council only. Comments or clarification by the public or councilors are permitted. Speakers may not speak disrespectfully of any council member, staff member, or any other person, and must not use offensive words or gestures. And in addition to that, you allow each speaker to, if there are any, to give their name and address. And normally these sessions are limited to 10 minutes, so please be respectful of time.
Hello, I'm Jessica Rogers. I live at 43 Mill Street. I own Creekside Yoga in town. I am a BIA member, and I would like to speak to item 7.6 on the agenda today. So first, I want to say I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, BIA board members, especially since we had little time to consult on this matter. I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a business owner within the BIA area and the organizer of the Farmers Harvest and Holiday Markets, which I do run on behalf of the BIA. Within the last year, township staff has recommended and council has approved numerous changes to various policies and procedures. Let me be clear, I am not against change, but many of these have made it more difficult for volunteers that this community relies on. You changed proof of eligibility criteria for BIA board members, which caused multiple members to resign. You've implemented a new special events permit application, which Nate and I have already been here to share its flaws and dysfunction. I currently have an application submitted that's almost 6 weeks with no answer as to whether it's been approved or if there's further clarification needed. You also changed a bench and tree policy procedure in the middle of an active BIA application and forced the new changes on the application, even though it was submitted before the new policy was approved. All of this to say is that a lot of new procedures have been imposed upon the BIA, which have made many feel that they can no longer volunteer for the group when the requirements have greatly increased. Please show me an organization that's made of volunteers that doesn't struggle with membership, engagement, or minor disagreements between the participants. Again, I'm not objecting to all of the staff reports identified issues, but I'm just confused as to why this repeal is being brought forward now without consultation or cooperation when the group is not fiscally irresponsible and we know of no petition or complaint that's been brought forward for this to move ahead, and the BIA did not request it. The report's strategic priority is investing in strong partnerships, but it feels that this is being a forced change on the volunteers who work very hard to make this community better. Perhaps an alternative solution to a BIA is possible, but I request that you give the group the opportunity to make that decision. And if a new resolution is favorable, then I feel the BIA, the township, and council should work collaboratively on the solution. Also, the report speaks to limited communication between the BIA board and the township, to which I would say it's actually due to the administration, as many of our emails often go days, weeks, even months without a response if one comes at all. You also state or propose that you would remove the BIA tax levy and assume responsibility for downtown maintenance, streetscaping, holiday lighting, and event coordination, which would now be funded by general tax base instead of the specific commercial levy. So in essence, you're proposing to do more with less money. The report also points out concerns regarding the surplus of the BIA, but the markets that I organize alone have generated almost $5,000 in revenue in 2025 for the BIA. And I can't understand why the township would take over these assets and funds that we have been able to raise ourselves. One alternative solution in the report is to redesignate a business improvement area that aligns with the township's and community interests. So therefore, you're proposing to dissolve one BIA, claim all their funds and assets, and start a brand new one. That doesn't seem like the best use of township and council resources. You've really left a dark cloud over our last two markets of the season, which are the biggest and most well attended. They draw the most tourists to town and have the biggest impact on our local economy. They also generate the most revenue for the BIA through vendors' fees. With this threat of absorbing our money and our assets, would you personally spend your free time and energy just to hand that all over at some point? I've lots more, but I'll cut it off there. Thank you.
Thank you. This time. Thank you. We will discuss the questions that just presented when we get to that item on the agenda.
Can we just get a motion to receive the public input?
Okay, I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Don't have any announcements at this time. I would like a motion to receive the minutes of the regular council held on July 7th. I'll move.
I'll second.
Any opposed? The minutes of the planning advisory committee meeting held on July 7th be received. The recommendations contained and be approved. Move for that, please. I'll move. Second.
I'm sorry.
All in favor? Great. That the minutes of the Joint Fire Service Board JFSB meeting held on May 13th be received and the recommendations contained within be approved. I move with that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second. This time, if the chief to speak to the employee or channels there.
Good morning, council and the mayor. Yes, so we've had one of our employees have left us, our training officer, and we've had to replace our training officer. And unfortunately, he's went on to other things, and he's still going to stay with the department as a volunteer, but he has headed on to other career path. And anyways, I went through a interviewing policy, and anyways, we found a good candidate for that replacement with this seamless thing that has a lot of the same background as what Rich had. And anyways, we've hired Greg Eagles. He started today, and we'll be looking after our training, facilitating for both the Joint Fire Service Board, which is through Tweed and Sterling, look after our training records, putting pretty much a lot of other duties and hats as a small community that we do. And we want to welcome Rich to our team, and I think he'll be a great asset to the department.
It speaks well to the quality of our people. The Fire Marshal of Ontario has hired this employee to be provincial training officer. 7.1.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I've heard that too for a while. 7.1, that the Economic Development Officers Report 26/130 for July. We received, and we'll move for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second it. Got that all in front of you. Are there any questions or do you want to speak to anything, Michelle?
No, good morning, Mayor, Council, and visitors. No, we had our Canada Day celebrations. We had a little bit of rain, but fireworks still went on. There was a Paint the Town Red event, BIA, the weekend after that. The summer music nights are continuing the rest of this month. There was a pulling together to charity, which raised money for a family with a sick child. White walls and overalls, art in the park. And there are upcoming events. We have the Sterling Fair this month, the Country County Jamboree, summer music nights continue, Market in the Village continues, and Tailgate Treasures on August 22nd.
the canceled, music nights have been rescheduled.
Yes, this past Wednesday night, the band that was expected to play, something came up medically and they were not able to play, so we were going to reschedule them.
I think they've been very well received.
Yes, they are. They're very local bands, so we'd like to get them back in.
So just to clarify, if I may, so what, we're looking at September to reschedule them, or do we have any dates in mind?
I'm waiting here on his health and then we'll see where we can either the first week of September or squeeze them in another night during the week. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so we get a vote on that.
We didn't call it.
Okay, all in favor of receiving the report? And excellent job, the Canada Day activities were interesting. Fire chief report, I could move or put that on the floor, please.
I'll second it.
You're up again, Derek.
The morning, everyone, to the chair. So just a few things we've been working on. We've had a busy month with some structure fires, and actually it's hard to believe we have a little bit of grass fire and stuff, but I think from the storm, again, from Canada Day was a big deal. That we had a lot of trees down, a lot of power lines, and then we ended up having a lot of the boys and girls were pretty busy out there cutting a lot of trees along with George's crew and Matt's looking after that. We've had put a burn restriction on from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You're still allowed to have your campfires and everything. Dealing with the M&R, we deal with them daily through Tweed, and I get updates from them on a daily basis. So that's how we base a lot of our stuff. They get a lot of data and stuff out for us right now. We were lucky to get a good lump of rain on the weekend there, which will kind of help things and may change some conditions here going forward, but we will keep monitoring that as going forward. The other thing we are right now is that we applied again for fire protection grant, which is a great thing that we get on getting some money from the government to buy some stuff for our basically it's a cancer prevention thing for our firefighters. We're able to build a room that we had in the back and remodel it to put washing machines, dryers and stuff for the firefighters in. We also were able to buy an SCBA washer, which is something that we haven't had, which basically decontaminates our SCBAs, our helmets, our boots, our gloves, and all that stuff. So it's actually, you can actually put the stuff in there in a fairly quick time. And then with the new cabinet dryer and stuff, we were able to turn our gear over, which used to take us about 3 days after a big fire. And now we're looking at just a little over a day and we can turn our gear over, which is a huge difference for us to have clean, dry gear for the guys to put back on girls. Yeah, so we've put in for another grant this year. This is the third round of it. They doubled the grant, which is good. We did the last year when we did a joint one with Tweed. So Tweed pitched in on ours. This year, we're going to pitch in on their solar decon. So then if we do have a big incident, we can take their back and forth, and we share back and forth with the two fire departments, so we can turn a turnover of gear and stuff going to that. So we have to thank them for doing the fire protection grants, which is great for us to do the stuff. So we can protect our fire staff and firefighters from the decontaminants, which has been that for over years and stuff, but now they're very, very serious with that. So basically we are going with that, and we just keep going. Hopefully we have keep getting some of that ready to go this summer to keep our fire situation under control, because the north. Another thing I should bring up is that a lot of people dealt with it a couple weeks ago with the smoke and stuff. We had a number of calls to our dispatch for people thinking there was fires in their neighbors' house and their properties and stuff. It was from the smoke from the north. There is 102 fires that we guessed during the day, active fires in northern Ontario. They're also coming from Quebec and the Western Ontario or Western Canada. And we may see some more of that again yet this summer coming our way. So if you, before you call for the fire department for 911, because we do get dispatched and we try to find these things and we drive around looking for them, and resources, costs for the run them out. If you can just make sure that you can actually see that fire visually, see where that smoke's coming from, where the fire is coming from before you call that thing. If there is some, absolutely call. We want to be there, but we did get a ton of calls over that period of time. We made a lot of false calls. So anyways, if everybody can just kind of put that out there. So that's all I have. Thanks. If any questions.
Since for the chief. All in favor of the report? Carried.
So now we need a motion on the Public Works Manager's Report, EUB 26-119 for the month of July 2026 be received.
We'll make the motion.
Moved by Graham, seconder.
I'll second.
Second by Caroline. Floor is yours, George. Is there anything you'd like to point out to us?
Well, first of all, good morning, Mayor, Council, yes. Sure update for this month's, maintenance and for equipment and road and everything. We are starting our season for safeties on our trucks and that, so. That's our main thing this month is get all our vehicles through on their safeties. We're continuing to work on high shoulders right now and mostly roadside maintenance. That's very good now, so. If there's anything on the highlights of what was done in the last month, you have any questions on, please ask.
Any member have any questions for George's report? Been quite busy this spring and getting the roads graded and calcium and doing the storms.
Just, I should be clear on this, but I'm not. The extensions put on culverts, is that done at the request of the property owner?
So we've had a couple requests for field entrances. Equipment's got bigger and they weren't able to get the trucks in and out to take the crop off. So it's just a matter of putting an extension on and make it a little wider.
Anybody else, any questions or thoughts? If not, all in favor? Report's carried.
Right.
We'll go to 7.4, the environmental managers report. At the managers report, ENV -26-131 for July 2026 he received.
I'll move. I'll second.
Okay, Matt, you want anything?
Morning, council, mayor, yes. Just a quick overview of last month in the environmental department. Staff's been working on the annual fire hydrant flushing program that is complete, as well as the water distribution valve turn, which is preventative maintenance. It's an annual event. And working with the MECP on the municipal drinking water license and permit renewal. July 4th, we had an incident with break and enter at both landfill sites. See there, we've been in contact with OPP and we're going to be putting some preventative measures up for security at both sites. And wastewater collection system flushing, that is now complete. The town's been flushed. Other than that, mostly just routine maintenance and working with engineering on the downtown project.
Anyone have any questions other than that? All in favor?
Okay, item 7.5 is a request, staff report, environmental 126-134 regarding the infrastructure capacity assessment study update 2026 received further. The council authorizes the waiving of the township procurement policy requirement for competitive procurement process for professional consulting services exceeding the 25,000 and approve a non-standard procurement in accordance with the procurement policy. And further, the council approves the awarding of the contract to J.L. Richardson Associates Limited to complete the infrastructure capacity assessment update for the outset limit fee of 32,000 plus HST. And further, that the infrastructure capacity assessment study be funded with 50% from water reserves and 50% from sewer reserve. And further, the council authorizes the mayor and chief administrative officer to proceed to execute the necessary agreement with J.L. Richardson Associates. And further, the council directs staff to work with J.L. Richardson Associates Limited to develop an ongoing water and wastewater servicing capacity tracking tool to assist council and staff in evaluating future development applications. And mover, please.
I'll move.
Seconder.
I'll second.
All right, there was a lot there. Maybe get Shelley to speak to the fact that we're asking for a exemption to our own purchasing policy.
Thank you, your worship. It's a request for an exception from purchasing policy with the grant that just happened. The last month from provincial government to waive development charges to move ahead with another infrastructure project. We were not able to make application because we didn't have a project that was shovel ready. So we also have some developments that are coming up and they're looking for some capacity. So working with the environmental manager, we have gone through the infrastructure report, which was done originally in 2019 and then again in 2023, but it needs updates. There's been infrastructure work that's already been done. There's some population updates that we need to run as well. And with that we reached out to JL Richards because they've already done the first two. So this would just be an update. The cost that is included in here is above the $25,000 procurement. So that's why it's being requested that we waive that policy. But the cost is a little bit higher than what it was the last time for the update because prices have changed with the consultants, but also we've added this tool. We want them to develop a tool, so that will hopefully mitigate us having to go back again and ask for another update in a couple of years once we've done the reconstruction down on the Belleville Road and North Street. So that's why this is coming, and then the recommendation as well is coming from reserves. So we have something that we're paying for it out of water sewer because that's what the main portion of the infrastructure study is for.
Do you have anything on that, man?
Nothing to add at this time unless you have further questions.
I think Shelley said pretty important points on this one, that timeliness, the province is very demanding now that we have shovel-ready projects. And the only way to have those available and ready is with information, detailed information, and stop making guesses as to what condition the assets are in. And the $25,000 limit is very low. Most municipalities now are much higher than that. So, and J.R. Richards has done a good job in the past. It would be very unlikely that anybody would come in with a lower bid. Even this was put out to tender, and you would lose the advantage of timing. Any questions from council? All in favor? Okay, at this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to the opening response.
Okay, we're 7.6. Steps to resolve the Sterling Rod business improvement area and board of management. So we need a motion that staff report CLK 26-129 regarding the steps to resolve the Sterling Rod and business improvement area, EIA and board of management be received. Get a motion to get this on the table.
I'd like to move on an alternative motion.
Okay.
In light of the correspondence received.
Oh, just-
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, to receive first.
Okay. fine.
Yeah.
Motion to receive the first.
I'll move.
Moved by Caroline, a seconder.
I'll second.
Second by Don.
No.
Okay, or I can provide some context first.
Sure, you go ahead.
Yeah. So this report is following council's direction at the July 7th council meeting to outline the steps of a council initiated dissolution of a BIA in Ontario. Upon review of the legislation, particularly sections 204 to 216 of the Municipal Act, we consulted further with legal counsel and the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to ensure compliance and clear direction on next steps, should council wish to proceed with the dissolution of the Sterling Rod Business Improvement Area and Board of Management. To this end, there is a sample motion for council provided in the staff report, along with a draft bylaw for reference and assurance that staff would provide notification to the BIA property owners and the board executive for council's decision.
Okay. Couple of things have happened since then. There was supposed to be a BIA meeting on Thursday night where this would have been discussed with the BIA, but they canceled without giving any reason. So it was not possible to have that meeting. So in light of the correspondence received and the input provided during today's meeting, we can receive this report and schedule a meeting with the BIA board and then proceed as determined.
That's the motion.
That's the motion. Yeah.
Seconder.
I'll second.
Second by Don. Anybody have any questions at this point?
No, not council. Not members of the public. We listened to your questions earlier and they will come up in the meeting, hopefully with the BIA. The BIA has sent us a letter over the weekend. Not sure whether they had a meeting or whatever. No.
I don't know why I had to wait to the meeting to inform us that this was brought to the table. Also, it was not on the agenda for that July 7th meeting. It was only included in the minute.
Yes, but you had an opportunity, yeah, we get scheduled a meeting, your meeting, which was canceled. Anyway,
You can only tell us things at a meeting.
pardon,
You can only communicate to us at a meeting.
to start.
Anyways, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor? Oh,
And sorry, who was the seconder? I had Mayor as the mover.
So
And for clarity, sorry, this is to then meet with the BIA board,
Executive.
so no dissolution, correct?
Right, no, at the time.
And if I could just add, I find as a counselor for the last few years, sometimes I get lost in the language of a thing. And I'll go on record as saying, when I saw the report and saw the title of it, it actually threw me for a moment as well. Because I can guarantee that council's wishes are to address the problems that are currently happening with the BIA. And to see if we can come up with a better way of doing things. And I can say that as the BIA representative, that it's been a few years of sometimes frustrating, and some of that is communication between council and the BIA. The intent, I believe, for this, and my fellow councilors can correct me if I'm wrong, is to improve things, not to destroy things. That is not the intent. And I understand that sometimes the language can get in the way of the intent. I get that totally. I'm a big fan of increasing communication from both sides and seeing if there can be a better solution, because I'm quite sure that nobody wants to see the markets or all the other wonderful events that the BIA does. None of us want to see those affected at all.
When you knew that this was being brought forward, why didn't you send us an email or some sort of communication?
You're our representative for the BIA.
I didn't see the report until Friday,
Okay, but you knew a month ago
Month
that
ago, yeah.
you asked for. the
Okay.
report.
and we have to wait until we see what's in that report before we can take action.
But you can't tell us the report's coming.
What would be the point of that?
To give us a heads up, to give us some warning so that we know that you've requested this.
So on a long weekend, we don't have to find out, come to a meeting Tuesday
That's
morning,
what I
take
found.
work off.
That's what I found out, on Friday when I read the report.
All right, anyway, the motion is to have a further meeting before decisions are finalized.
or council all in favor of that? Carry. I can hand the meeting back over to you, Rob.
All right, thank you.
Just for clarity, can I read back the motion? Because, yeah, so that staff and council be directed to consult further with the BIA board executive with respect to the dissolution of the BIA, Sterling Run BIA and Board of Management. Staff and council,
Yes, but
After elections.
moved by Mayor Mullen and seconded by Councilor Street.
item 7.7. I'll get you to read this one and let explain it. It's a mouthful.
That staff report CLK 26128 regarding the 2026 to 2030 joint compliance audit committee be received, and further that council approve the establishment and appointment of members to a joint municipal election compliance audit committee for the township of Sterling Rodden, participating member municipalities of Hastings County and the Algonquin Lakeshore District School Board, and further that council approve the joint Hastings County 2026 to 2030 election compliance audit committee's terms of reference for the 2026 to 2030 term of office, and further that bylaw number 49-2026 being a bylaw to establish and appoint members to a joint municipal election compliance audit committee for the 2026 to 2030 term of office as listed on this agenda be approved.
Mover to that, please.
I'll move.
Seconder.
Second it.
Thank you. Yeah, through to council, this is just compliance with legislation. We're required every term of office to establish this committee in the event that there is an audit required. In the past, we partnered with member municipalities of Hastings County, same thing here. Recruitment opened. Of the 4 applications received, 3 were qualified. We're proposing with moving forward with the appointment of those 3 members. And then historically, from my research, the committee has not been required to meet, as there has been no compliance audit application received.
Any questions regarding that? All in favor? Okay, the next one. The staff report CAO 26-132 regarding the implementation of a community engagement platform be received, and further, the council approved the purchase and implementation of the social pinpoint community engagement platform from Open Point at the cost of $5,000 annually, plus a one-time implementation fee and onboarding fee of $2,000, excluding applicable taxes. And further, the council authorized funding of the $5,000 annual subscription from the contracted services budget and the $2,000 implementation on onboarding costs from the training budget. And further, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute any agreement or documentations necessary to give effect to this subscription. We will move from that, please.
I'll move.
Heather.
Second.
Thank you, Worship. So staff has been researching different methods of communication through, so you improved the website and community engagement with some of our different projects, specifically the construction project that's going on Old North Street, but also for annual budgets and any other projects that come up. So this is the type of communication that would be easier for people to make comment on and to get responses back, Q&As through the website. Right now, we just are indicating, when there's a public notice that's being posted, but there isn't actually any kind of interaction between or reporting that's coming out of when we do surveys and things. So this is going to help clean that up. There's a number of municipalities in the area that have used this platform, and we're hoping to get it up and running probably within the next 6 weeks.
Questions from members? We have a large project coming up in the spring, the downtown Belleville Road, and this will be a key tool of communicating with the public and keeping things up to date.
Just one question, who will be moderating is it it's a website or it's a social media,
Through the worship. It's a website, so it'll be moderated by whoever's looking after the website right now, which is our clerk or deputy clerk and our economic development officer kind of moderates any of the questions. But what'll happen is, like, if there's a question that comes in, it'll be, if it's asked by a number of different people, then you can check off that you also had the same question and it's been answered. And then different questions. So you'll see the responses. It'll be on the website. Just click to the website, whatever the project is, will take you to this website, and then all the information and all the responses will be. It's not social media.
so it's more specific to projects that are township projects that are happening rather than concerns or.
Correct. It's for specific projects. So it would be, I mean, if there is something that is coming up. So last year we did a study on the trails. So that's the type of place where you can say this is what the study's for, and this is the background, and these are the responses, and then we can actually have whatever the result was from the study, from the survey, posted on that website. So we have the ability, I believe, in this with this contract up to 20 projects. A lot of the time, with the main thing that'll happen is the annual budget will be posted on there. So it'll be a number of different projects, and there'll be a number of different reports. It could be development charges or the water rate study or different things like that as well. But if there's something else that comes up, yes, it can be also added as a project if that's requested.
Okay.
Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Correspondence, we have a number of items. Start with a motion, of correspondence information items 8.1 through 8.10 is listed on the agenda to be received. And move for that, please.
I'll move.
Second.
Are there any of the above that members of council would like to express in particular? No, okay, there's a couple I will highlight. You may have noticed that the Conservation Authority bringing their budgets forward. Much earlier this year, they're in the middle of a provincial change to their structure. The budgets generally are in less than 3% increase, because there's an awful lot of speculation as to what is actually going to happen coming in the future. The central region is going from 7 conservation authorities to 1. We're not sure how that's going to be structured, how it's going to work. The other item, 8.6, is, no, 8.7. They're both Southeast Public Health Unit. This council elected not to approve the provincial recommendation about the alcohol at public events. And the Southeast Health Unit has commented on our motion and are looking for letter of.
No, that one's just to receive, sorry, through the bank. 8.6 is where they're looking for the letter of support with regards to West Nile virus.
Right. So someone would like to make a motion to give that letter of support. I'll make it.
I'll second.
Favor? There. And that's simply to spray for mosquitoes if they become an issue. Didn't see anything else on that list.
And just for clarity, for that letter of support, there is a sample. So the motion would essentially read as that letter of support is written. And then also that staff be directed to provide that letter of support to that effect.
Mover and seconder, okay with
It
that?
was Donnie Grant, yeah.
All in favor of that? 9.1. The bylaw number 48/2026, being a bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 32003 is amended with respect to lands municipally known as 555 Square Road be read and passed on this 4th day of August. Can I move for that, please?
I'll move. I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor? The next one is a bylaw appointing the joint ethics election compliance committee. Move for that, please.
I'll move.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor? Any notices of motion at this time? No new business. All right, I need a motion to move into closed session, please.
I'll move.
Okay, at this time, council is going into closed session. I would ask. Public, if you're right.
For those in attendance and tuning in online, we will be ceasing the live stream at this time. Any motions or resolutions carried in closed session will be reported in open session and provided as well. Accordingly, it will be presented on the next.